just don't know where I can go. Fun's getting low. Winter is a coming fast and colder than the last. Pity for me, cold as can be. When breezes blow with ice and snow, no wonder then I sing time and again.
Welcome to Sparky on Ice, the coldest podcast on the internet. Today is April 14th, and this is episode number 6. Well, hello everyone. Glad to have you back with us. As I said, it's episode 6, and I've been on ice for 89 days. The weather's been interesting this week. It's been as high as, I think we got up to 3 one day, and today it is negative 13 degrees Fahrenheit, and with a negative 37 wind chill. So yeah, it's kind of chilly out there, kind of hard to walk with that kind of wind. And see, the winds are at 14 knots. I don't know what that works out to in miles per hour, but it's close to 14. Anyway, this has been an interesting week, at least here. I'm sure most of you heard about the black hole image. If you haven't, go check it out. It's really cool. But what you probably didn't know is that the South Pole Telescope was part of that project. Yeah, and this is from an article in the Antarctic Sun, published back in 2014. I'm just going to read a little bit of it. It says, now the powerful astrophysics instrument, talking about the South Pole Telescope, located at the National Science Foundation's Amundsen Scott South Pole Station, will be used to form an Earth-sized telescope to study a black hole in the center of the Milky Way. In the case of the Event Horizon Telescope, the goal isn't to find some intergalactic evil, but to get a better picture of a very distant and small object, like viewing something the size of a softball on the surface of the moon. By eventually joining the power of telescopes in the United States, Europe, Pacific Ocean, Mexico, Chile, and Antarctica. So there it is. They took all these telescopes around the world and they combined them together to make this one ginormous telescope, like Voltron, I think, is what I saw one person allude to, or maybe like the Power Rangers. Our powers combined. So yeah, that's really cool and interesting. Though we got part here of the science here in Antarctica was part of some huge undertaking to view the first view of a black hole, and it was just really cool. There's also some interesting stuff going locally. Now, the April flights were scheduled for this week, and there was some problems. So those of you who don't know, the only way on and off this continent, for this side of the continent, is by plane. This time of year, the ice is frozen, so they can't get boats in. So that's not going to happen. Yeah, pretty much by plane. And a lot of times, the weather plays on whether the planes get in or out. But this time it was a little different. So Thursday, they were supposed to have a plane come in, and they did. It landed just fine. On time, everything was wonderful. It was a beautiful day to fly. It wasn't cold, or it wasn't too cold, and it wasn't windy. It was just a great day. And they took everybody out to the airfield, the people that are leaving the ice, and there were, I don't know, about 70 people on this, 70-ish. Somewhere between 50 and 70, I don't know the exact number. But they were all set. Their bags were loaded on the plane. They were sitting on the plane. The doors were shut, and they were just sitting there. And then they opened the doors and they said, okay, everybody out. We got to go back. And that's got to be rough because, these people have been here some of these people have been here a year now. They've been here a long time. Most of them probably been here since Windfly, which is August, and maybe October. But still, it's a long time to be down here. And now they're being put back into Ivan the Terra bus and driven back to the station. And turns out that there was a crack in the windshield, and they can't take passengers up in a plane with a cracked windshield. The crew apparently can fly, but they have to fly under 10,000 feet or something like that. And it's supposedly pretty dangerous for the passengers, which I get. And it just, the problem is, they were already on the plane. Everybody was ready to go. They were getting set, and they were like, yeah, we're going to be, in Christchurch in 6 hours. It'd be great. And the disappointment that these folks had when they walked back in the door, and it was just like, wow, I can't believe this. I mean, it just sucks for them because, they wanted to go home. And then it sucks for us here because there's a second flight, which is supposed to bring us our mail. Our mail is sitting in Christchurch. And without this flight going on time, our mail is delayed again. And we haven't had mail since March. So I was really looking forward to getting some mail. But then, so they said, well, they fly it back to Melbourne. This is the Aussie flight. And they get it repaired, and they say, okay, we're coming back on Saturday. Well, Saturday rolls around, and about 10 in the morning, we're having our break, and we go look at the monitor for the planes, and that was scheduled for that day. And lo and behold, weather changes, 24-hour delay. So now they're stuck another whole day here. And they'd already taken their bags up and gotten everything ready to go. And now they can't go, which is a good thing because the weather did move in that afternoon, and it got pretty snowy and windy. Yeah, and they would have had to turn the plane around anyway, so they just decided not to take off, which makes sense. Now it's Sunday, and they schedule the plane, and the plane gets here, no problems. They load up, they're going home. So the station is now 50 people lighter, 50 people quieter, and if all things go well, they should be able to bring the mail down tomorrow, which will be Monday. And I should be able to get my mail because I've got some packages coming in which may help with the show. But yeah, it was an interesting week as far as flights go. Now, after tomorrow, we won't have any more flights till June, which really means we won't have any flights till July because June flight is never on time. Well, it looks like it's going to be a short show this week because I don't have any questions to answer. I would really love to get some questions to answer because it's interesting what people want to know about Antarctica and about living here. So you can submit a question via email at podcast@sparkyonice.xyz, or you can find me on Twitter at SparkyOnIce, Facebook, Sparky on Ice, and you can also follow my YouTube channel, which will have video content of things around the station. And once winter really sets in, I'm going to start doing more videos from inside and doing tours of workstations and things like that. And we'll see how things go. Until then, I will see you guys next week.